Hey, welcome to this podcast. Hello and welcome to this podcast, Little Girls Aren't Taught This. This is the self-love podcast, unlike no other, and I am your host, self-love coach, Lydia McCartney. Hello and welcome to this podcast, Little Girls Aren't Taught This. This is a self-love podcast, unlike no other, and I am your host, Self-Love Lydia. Within this podcast, we will discuss all of the things that we should have been taught as little girls that would have helped us feel connected, empowered, and just unapologetic as we grew into women. This is your space for all things spirituality, self-love, empowerment, and just a few sprinkles of juice added in and hello and welcome to this podcast, Little Girls Aren't Taught This. I am your host, Self-Love Lydia, and this is a self-love podcast unlike no other. Within this podcast, we will go into all of the things that we should have been taught as little girls that would have helped us feel empowered, connected, and just unapologetic as we grew into women. I am the queen of deep transformations. I am on a mission to impact women around the world with self-love, and I am here to teach you how to be unapologetic and just step into your power. I hope you enjoy the podcast. Hello my lovelies and welcome back to another episode of the podcast. I felt that in my soul want to come out then, so I just thought, you know what, I'll go with it and let's see where it takes me. So how are we all doing? I hope everybody is good, looking forward to Christmas. You know, I can't believe it's Christmas next week. Like, what the hell? I had a therapy session yesterday and Pam, my therapist, was like, so when shall we meet? And I was like, next week. And she was like, you do know it's Christmas next week. And I was like, I really need to be more vigilant of the days of the month, because that is one thing that I don't do. I don't really pay attention to dates anymore. I just like try and live my life for the day. But anyway, I digress. It's Christmas next week. Like, what is going on? So I wanted to come on and unpack a post that I put up on my Instagram on Monday. And it was a little quote that I put up, and basically it was just around self-love and, you know, what I've learned about self-love in the past few months, because I'm always going through a process of evolution, which often, as exhausting as it is, takes me really, really deep with myself, and really, really like forces me to look at layers of myself and, you know, like really step up for myself. So yeah, I'm always going through like phases like this, and usually it tends to happen this time of year. So like last year, I swear to God, I had like Dark Night of the Souls. It was so overwhelming and just difficult and so hard. And it was exactly this time last year. So it's around like October, November, I always go through this like big, massive internal process where a lot of things begin to shift for me in my life, and like a lot of decisions have to be made, and you know, I have to really look at myself in the mirror and implement the things that I'm teaching, which is good and exhausting all at the same time. So one of the things that I shared in this post yesterday, and I will read it out, is it was just a deeper understanding of what self-love means. And actually the reason why I felt really called to share this is because I think a lot of the time I just know that we live in a world where we just like wait for things to happen, and I don't really understand why we do that. I mean, I do understand it because we live in a space of fear all of the time, and what's actually amazing is realizing as humans how controlled and guided we are by fear, and underneath that fear is a whole host of other beliefs, really, aren't there? Like, we're not good enough, we're not worthy enough, we don't feel like we're capable, we're feared of judgment, we're scared to fail. We're scared of people seeing us for who we really are. We're scared to take a risk. We're scared to bet on ourselves. Like, underneath that, there's so many other things that are playing out. But it's really, really interesting to just observe how, much we just reside in fear and self-doubt. And I think for me, a part of it is just like, do the fucking thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, just commit to doing the thing. Like, what are you waiting for? Like, what are you waiting for? And actually understanding that to make that first step, it requires you to lean into possibility. So I've done a podcast about this, haven't I? Like, faith versus fear. But lean into possibility and lean into what if, and lean into a life where you tried rather than you sat and you regretted. You stayed in your comfort zone. Because that's actually one of the things that I want to delve into within this podcast episode. So if you seen the post yesterday, on Monday it was, the quote was, part of self-love is betting on yourself, taking risks and committing so hard to the dreams and vision you have for your life, choosing yourself each day and activating the fire in your belly because you know you are worth it. Self-love isn't an easy ride, but it makes for a hell of a journey. And I just felt like that was really, really strongly coming through me, because not only recently in my journey have I hit like I call it like a threshold, where I just like literally have enough of a cycle that's repeating out. And I don't know if I've spoken about this in a podcast, I can't remember, but basically anyway, when I began my journey with, building a relationship with my body, it's because I hit a threshold where I was like, I am so sick of feeling this way. Like, I never want to feel like this again. I committed in that moment, and I was like, I am not coming back to this place, because it's so miserable and just draining and heartbreaking being in this space, and just like an absolute waste of energy. So when I made that commitment at that moment, it had taken me time and time again of getting knocked down and feeling like shit and standing in the mirror and huffing and crying over my body and training and comparing myself and all of these ridiculous things, for me to actually get to the point where I was like, I am so done. And recently another cycle that plays out in relation to money in my life, which I've only just become aware of this year, so I'm grateful for that. I just hit my threshold with it. I was like, I'm absolutely so done with this bullshit. Like, I am so done of thinking these thoughts. I am so done of this behaviour playing out. I am so fucking done of perpetuating a cycle that continues time and time and time again. Because once you have that awareness, well, I know for me anyway, once I have that awareness, I can't unsee it. So then once I see it, I get so like frustrated and pissed off with like myself, basically. And I feel like sometimes, I can fall into that thing of, well, it's hard and I'm trying, and, this is a deep-rooted cycle. But for me, my personality type is, I am like really flowy and conscious, and I appreciate that things are, a little bit more difficult to work through. But then I also have that Scorpio side of me that's just like, do the fucking thing, break the fucking cycle, like, do it. Like, it's not too hard that it's impossible. You know what you need to do. Now put on your big girl pants and do the fucking thing that you need to do. And when I get to that threshold point, that's literally the version of me that steps forward. So one of the things I've realised recently is like, self-love is really betting on yourself and committing to something, and making a promise to yourself to commit and continue to commit until you break a cycle, or you get what you desire, or you manifest whatever it is that you want in your life, or your business begins to take off, or you can leave your job, or you lose, I don't know, however much like weight you really want to lose to feel good, let me add. So I just wanted to explore this a little bit more in the podcast, because I think the biggest message I want to get across in this podcast episode is, self-worth, or a lack of self-worth, and doubt and fear will hold you back. It will hold you back time and time and time again. And I think often what happens is we wait for a moment, or we wait for that day when we get a permission slip off the universe to go ahead and grab life and go after the things that we want. And the reality is, it really does not happen like that. The only person that's going to give you a permission slip is yourself. And sometimes you have to stop hiding in the fucking shadows and taking a back seat, and you just have to do the fucking thing that you need to do. So if you're listening to this and you don't feel good enough in yourself and you want to work on your self-love, commit to working on that. If you want to, I don't know, if you want to be able to lift more in the gym, go and lift more. If you want to train harder, go and train harder. If you want to find a relationship, go out and do the things that you need to do to attract that into your life. Because if you don't, you will wake up one morning and you will just be regretful of the chances that you didn't take. Because life is about chances. Life is not about sitting in the comfort zone and waiting for something to be handed to us. That's not what life's about. You are the only person that can go out and grab that opportunity and go after the things that your heart desires. I've only got to the point that I am at now because way back when I had no self-worth, I knew that I wanted more, and I was so fed up of feeling the way that I was feeling. So I was like, I'm going to take a chance on this and I'm going to go all in. When I quit my job, I was so miserable in my job that, you know what, I took a chance. I handed my notice in. I didn't have a plan. I didn't have an A to B. I didn't know what the hell I was going to do, but I knew that the situation I was in was making me miserable, and life is too fucking short for that. Your life is worth more than that. And realizing that this is actually self-love, to just bet on yourself and go after the things that you desire. Like, is that easy? Absolutely not. No, it's not easy. But is it easy to sit in the space that you're in now? Like, is it easy to know that, to observe these thoughts and know that you just feel quite like flat with life and you want more, or you're just so tired of hating your body, or you're so tired of being on a diet, or you're so tired of comparing yourself to other girls? Like, is that not enough? Because I know for me, the past few weeks, what I've realised is self-love really is the anchor in my life when things aren't going as planned and they get tough and they become out of my control. It centres me back in that knowing of, you can do this. And it doesn't matter if you get knocked down a few times. It doesn't matter if things don't go your way. Fuck, it doesn't even matter if you lose everything, Lydia. You won't wake up one morning and think, I should have done that. Should have done that. I won't wake up in my 40s and have hated my body for 20 years because I made a decision and I committed to it. And the same applies for you. Everything you see within me now, and everything, the pull that you feel towards me, the things that resonate that I say, the things that you see and you think, oh, I wish I felt like that. That is capable for you too, because in 2018, I did not feel this way. I was not this person. So the results you see in this person you see today, self-love Lydia that you see, she did not exist in 2018. But the old version of me, oh my God, I'm so grateful that she made that decision, that she wanted more. She said yes. She took a bet on herself. She took a risk on herself. I'm so grateful that she done that, because I wouldn't be who I am today. So what is it that you actually want? Like, lean into that. Don't be afraid to go there. Like, do you want to break that cycle? Yes, I want to break the cycle. Yes, I want to coach. Yes, I finally want to feel myself, feel like myself. Yes, I want to manifest my life. Yes, I want a loving relationship, because I am worth it, because I know there's more, because I'm so tired of where I am. Yes, 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 I am committed. There is no turning back. Say that to yourself time and time and time again. And when the fear comes in, it's okay. It's normal. Like, this life is not a run for like the next round where we get to like really truly lean into ourselves. Like, this is it. Like, listen to these words. This life is it. This is the moment that you have. Stop waiting for that moment to arise where you say yes to yourself. Go out there and do that today. Bet on yourself, because your whole fucking life could change from one decision. Your whole life could change if you actually committed to healing your relationship with your body. Imagine. Or you committed to getting a coach, or you committed to getting a therapist, or you committed to signing up for a program. Whatever it is, if you just took that risk, or you even committed to going to women's circles once every 6 weeks. So if you listen to this today, please bet on yourself. Dream big, be scared, but move towards what you want, because nobody else is going to do that for you. A woman with self-love moves, but she has only got to that point by making the fucking moves. Let that land. A woman with self-love moves, but she has only got to that point by making the fucking moves. She had to move through. I had to move through everything you're experiencing. I had to move through that. Because that notion of possibility was just worth it. It was worth it times 10 over the discomfort and how miserable I felt and how turned off from life I felt and how worthless I felt inside. Like that, the possibility, and I knew if I committed, it would only get better. And what I've realised recently is if I commit and I put my mind to something and I am all cards on the table, the universe will meet me where I'm at. Like, the laws of the universe will meet me and support me and hold me so much. Like, we are always supported, we are always guided, and it's actually so beautiful. But we just get so caught up in the humanness and the headiness of our journey. So that's my invitation to you today. Take a bet on yourself and I just would not want one person to listen to this today to wake up one day and think, shit, should have took that chance, I should have done nothing, I should have been that person that I wanted to be. Because a life with regret, really, is it a fulfilled life? And what's the worst thing that happens if you bet on yourself? But what's the best thing that could possibly happen if you bet on yourself? Think about that. So yeah, that is my little offering to you for this episode. Please let me know how you found it. If you feel called to, please leave a review on Apple Podcast. Please download, screenshot, share on Instagram. You know what's really nice is, like, the past 2 days I've spoken to women in my DMs, and they have both told me that they have been listening to my podcast and it has helped them so much, like, on their journey, which is so interesting, because I always feel like you don't really see the impact of a podcast. Like, you know, people are listening, but it's very rare for me. I actually hear how people find these episodes. So to have that conversation and get that feedback was so nice. So one of the other things I want to leave you with before I go is an offering that I have for January. So I've never done anything like this before, and it came to me recently in a meditation. So I'm obviously going to follow the voice and share. So I have 2 more spots available for women who feel the pull to work with me and really resonate with the things that I say and really, really just want to work on their self-love for 2022. There's 2 spots left, and what you actually get is 1 month intensive coaching with me starting in January. So we will have a 90-minute intensive coaching call, and I had one today, and holy shit, it blew my mind. We were meant to have the session for 90 minutes, And within 35 minutes, we bottomed out to a massive belief that she had, that she never knew that she had it. But what we were doing, like, really bottomed out into this belief. And it just absolutely lifted the lid off everything. And she was like, I've never ever connected those dots between these two situations in my life. It was so powerful. I'm still so mind blown, you know. So yeah, you get the 90-minute intensive with me. You get intimate support on Voxer, which is like WhatsApp. So I will be your coach to support you when things are coming up. I will give you things that I want you to do, and we will be back and forth. And then we have a session towards the end of our time together where we come back and we really look at the things that have come up and how to implement anything going forward in terms of self-love. So this is for anybody who just wants to work, like, come into my world and work with me. This is for anybody, well, this is for you if you want to work on your self-love. This is for you if you really feel like you are just ready, like you've had a glimpse of the transformations other women have got working with me. You read them and you desire so strongly in your heart to experience that. Maybe you've worked with me before, so you've seen what's possible and you want to boost in some one-on-one time. You want to work with a coach, but you want to experience a small investment first. But most importantly, you are ready and committed to changing habits and cycles. You want to feel powerful, juicy, worthy, free in 2022. I am also given access to my meditation program, which is the Divine Collective. So this is an absolutely incredible offer. So if you would like to grab a spot and find out more details, drop me an email. I will put my email in the show notes, or hit me up on Instagram at selflove.lydia. Drop me a DM and let's have a conversation about what could be possible for you if you feel the pull towards working with me in January and you want to get in on this offer, because I will not be offering anything like this in 2022 again. And the 2 spots that I originally put forward out, and the 2 spots have been absolutely snapped up. So, which I knew they would do. So yeah, enjoy your week, my loves. I shall see you before we check out for Christmas week with another podcast episode. So I hope you enjoyed this one. I see you, I love you, and I shall be back soon.